Once upon a time, in the heart of Paris, there lived a woman named Mathilde Loisel. She was beautiful, she was charming, but she was not rich. And this, she believed, was the greatest tragedy of her life. She was married to a kind and humble clerk, a man who adored her. But love was not enough. She longed for grand ballrooms, sparkling jewels, elegant gowns, and whispered admiration. She was born for luxury, or so she thought. But life had given her only modest walls and simple dresses, and every day she resented her fate. One evening, her husband came home with a letter. "It's an invitation," he said, smiling. "The ministry is hosting a grand ball, and we are invited." Mathilde's eyes widened. This was her chance, a night to shine, to be seen, to feel like she belonged to a world of wealth and glamour. But then her excitement faded. "I have nothing to wear," she murmured. Her husband, eager to see her happy, offered her his savings so she could buy a gown. And so she found the perfect dress. But still, something was missing. "I have no jewels," she sighed. Her husband suggested borrowing something. So she visited Madame Forestier, her wealthy friend. And there, among the glittering treasures, she saw it. A diamond necklace. Shining, elegant, perfect. "May I borrow this?" she asked. Madame Forestier smiled. "Of course," and with that, Mathilde felt transformed. She was no longer a simple clerk's wife. That night, she was a queen. The ball was everything she had ever dreamed of. She danced, she laughed, she caught every envious glance. Men admired her. Women whispered about her. For one night, she belonged to the world she had always desired. But then, as she stepped out into the cold night, something was wrong. She reached for her necklace. It was gone. Panic set in. She and her husband searched everywhere. They retraced their steps, asked the servants, ran through the dark streets of Paris, but the necklace was nowhere to be found. They had no choice. They had to replace it. After searching the jewelers of Paris, they found a similar necklace. The price? 36,000 francs. Everything they had and more. They borrowed, they begged, they took out loans, and so began 10 years of suffering. Mathilde's beauty faded. Her hands became rough from endless labor. She scrubbed floors, carried water, worked tirelessly to pay their debts. Her husband, once cheerful, grew weary and gray. And all for a single night of illusion. A single necklace. One day, years later, Mathilde saw Madame Forestier walking down the street. Her heart pounded. Should she tell her? Should she confess what had happened? She approached her and with a tired smile said, "Do you remember the necklace I borrowed from you?" "Yes, of course," Madame Forestier said. Mathilde took a deep breath. "I lost it. My husband and I spent 10 years repaying the debt to replace it." Madame Forestier gasped. She grabbed Mathilde's hands and whispered, "Oh, my poor Mathilde. The necklace was fake." We often suffer for things that are not as valuable as we think. Chasing appearances can cost us everything. Happiness does not come from wealth or status, but from appreciating what we have. Mathilde spent years paying for something that was never real. But how many of us do the same? How many of us sacrifice joy for appearances? How many of us chase illusions, only to find out too late that they were never worth it? Don't forget, really like and subscribe for more powerful storytelling. Have you ever learned a lesson the hard way? Share your thoughts in the comments. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story that makes you think and feel.